On April 28, 1967, the greatest fighter of all time, Muhammad Ali, was tragically stripped of his boxing titles, including his most famed title, heavyweight champion of the world. Ali stood up for what he believed as a Muslim by refusing to go to the Vietnam War. As a devout follower to the Islamic religion, Ali was a conscientious objector. Triumphantly, he spoke at colleges instead of spending time incarcerated, but then he resumed boxing and once again took the crown as the greatest. The anti-war movement would not have been successful if not for the actions of a powerful role model such as Muhammad Ali. A direct parallel can be drawn between the leadership of Ali in the 60s to modern African American athletes who also stood up for their rights. In the early 1960s, the United States joined the Vietnam War, supporting South Vietnam by providing troops and ammunition. Even though not all the people drafted went to the war, like the conscientious objectors, the U.S. would recruit civilians on the street that met the requirements for war. 7,262 black troops died in the war, but 96% of those troops were Army and Marine enlisted men. For the United States, there were about 2,000 people who were drafted but did not participate because of freedom of thought, their conscience, and one of the most vital reasons, religion. As a Muslim, Muhammad Ali did not take part in wars because he did not want to continue the dominance of white culture and, of course, his religion. Because Ali refused to go into battle, he was sentenced to jail for standing up for his own beliefs. As stated in an opinion by Muhammad Ali, I strongly object to the fact that so many newspapers have given the American public and the world the impression that I only have two alternatives in taking this stand. I either go to jail or I go to the army.
People have been taking us for a ride for the past 400 years in America. The Muslims are straightening me up and teaching me the truth and saving my life so that I can see the hereafter. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us the religion of Islam, and I will die for it and get it.
Muslims are people who follow or practice Islam, a monotheistic Abrahamic religion. Muslims consider the Quran, their holy book, to be the word of God as revealed to the Islamic prophet and messenger Muhammad. Muhammad Ali and other Muslims who follow the Quran and the belief that one should not resort to violence unless in self-defense. As quoted in the Quran, permission to fight is given to those whom a war is made because they have been wronged, and Allah indeed has power to help them. Muhammad Ali did not believe that the Vietnam War was a defensive war, but more of a war where it was meant to kill. As Ali explained in an interview, my conscience won't let me go shoot my brother or some darker people, some poor hungry people in the mud for big powerful America. I'm not going 10,000 miles from home to continue the domination of white slave masters of the darker people. During the 3 years his license was suspended, Ali went through many court battles to regain his titles. Even though Ali faced negative bias because he was an African American Muslim, there were those who agreed with his stance about fighting only if it was in the form of self-defense, as written in the Quran. His actions motivated others to join the anti-war movement to peacefully protest with a strong leader like Ali. This made him one of the most revered athletes of the 60s.
Muhammad Ali is legendary for his boxing career and his high morals during a time when life was challenging for African Americans. Converting to a Muslim only added to his hardships. Ali stood up for his religious beliefs in spite of the consequences, and his leadership inspired future generations of African American athletes to do the same. As said in an interview with famed basketball player Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Ali didn't fight for 3 years during his physical prime when he could have earned millions of dollars because he stood up for a principle. While I admire the athlete of action, it is the man of principle who is truly my role model. Jabbar and many other athletes were inspired and triumphantly stood up for themselves and for their people, like Shaquille O'Neal and LeBron James wearing an I Can't Breathe shirt in protest of police brutality. Recently, Colin Kaepernick sat during the national anthem because the anthem recites liberty and justice for all. Kaepernick saw inconsistency with the statement and the treatment of African American citizens. In a press conference, Kaepernick articulated, Ali fought a very similar fight and was trying to do what was right for the people, and for me to be able to have someone like that come before me is huge. While on the phone with Maryam Ali, Muhammad Ali's daughter, she explained,
not only is it in the Constitution, it's God's law that I'm free to worship how I want to worship and believe what I want to believe. And that's just a quality that a lot of wealthy people don't have. So people like LeBron James, and he also, a lot of the, and not only just black men, but especially black men looked up to him because he did speak and was confident at a time where African Americans were supposed to be quiet and not say
Ali is not only the greatest boxer of all time, but he has also acted as a role model to influence people to stand up for themselves and their rights despite the hatred and challenges it may bring.
When I lost to Frazier, no excuses, he won. When I lost to Ken Martin, broke the jaw, he won. When I lost to Spinks, he won. But I have people thinking that if I lose or if something bad happens to me, I'll jump out of the window. See, my faith is not in one thing, really. I'm a spiritual man.
But it's a way of life for you. It's money. It's an entourage. It's a feeling about
I can
yourself.
get
All
all
of
up
that.
tomorrow, find a job pumping gas in the gas station.
My funniest quote he said about when he was hyping up himself for a fight was, I'm so fast I can turn the bedroom light off at night and be in the bed before the room gets dark.
But they make me wanna melt their face away. Like I once made them spray, now I can make them put the K's away. Been thugging all my life. Can't say I don't deserve to take a break. You'd rather see me catch a case and watch my future fade away. That's right. Immaculately polished with the spirit of a hustler and the swagger of a college kid. Allergic to the counterfeit, impartial to the politics, articulate but still a grabber by the collar quick. Whoever having problems with their record sales, just holler tip. If that don't work and all else fails, then turn around and follow tip. I got love for the game, but hey, I'm not in love with all of it. Could do without the fame, and rappers nowadays are comedy. The hooting and the hollering, back and forth with the arguing. Where you from, who you know, what you making, what kind of car you in. Seems as though you lost sight of what's important when depositing them checks into your bank account and you up out of poverty. Your values is in disarray, prioritizing horribly. Unhappy with the riches cause you're piss poor morally. Ignoring all prior advice and forewarning, and we mighty full of ourselves all of a sudden, aren't we? That's right.
I told you, all of my critics, I told you all that I was the greatest of all time when I beat Sonny Liston. I told you today I'm still the greatest of all time. Never again defeat me. Never again say that I'm going to be defeated. Never again make me the underdog until I'm about 50 years old. Then you might get me.